Hola, bonjour, and hello, everybody. You are listening to Worldwide Tea. It is the one and only podcast where every single week we cover every single spin-off of the international iterations of RuPaul's Drag Race, and we're always happy to be here. We're back, baby. Canada's back, as we might immigrate to. Who knows? Either way, I am Evan Sawdey from Pop Matters.
I'm Gregory from the playlist. You can also read me in the LA Times.
And you know what? If you love Drag Race as much as we do, then you know for a fact that me and Greg have been covering everything that's been going on this year. We've been covering all the different international spin-offs of Drag Race France All-Stars and Slation Royale for the Philippines, and currently, as we tape this episode, the wrapping up final seasons of, or most recent seasons of both España and UK. But chief among them all, we know for a fact, and I have made this point very well known, I think that the producers of Canada's Drag Race have something a little special in them, even if they don't always have the best casting. They're always pushing the limits of what challenges and formats and other things can do. And y'all, baby, I think it's very clear, as you may have heard in our Meet the Queens episode covering these Canadian queens, they want to hit, baby. They want this to
Yeah.
be the biggest fucking Canada season of all time. And now that we have watched this episode, Greg, we might have something on their hands. They might have actually pulled it out. I don't know. It's only one episode in, but I like what's happening right now.
Hey, listen, Evan, we don't have the Epstein files yet, but we have
We
been
don't.
given a gift with perhaps Canada's Drag Race season 7, which ironically might be the best cast they've ever had, like from top to bottom. We're gonna find
In,
out. It's the first episode. We need to preface our joy because it could all fall apart, but it does seem to be the most promising start in forever for Canada.
There was an article that came out a while ago talking about how Carly Rae Jepsen once made an entire disco album, but she has a quote buried in my backyard, to which I think a lot of people have recently responded, release the Jepstein files. Because that's really what we need here as a healing for our country, as a balm. And most critically, Greg, more than anything else, the thing you need to know is that in this House of Love, we believe that all drag is valid, and no queen ever deserves online hate. And as American entertainment journalists, we may not get every cultural reference, and we always appreciate corrections. And there are some truly great queens who aren't good at Drag Race, and we love them and appreciate them all the same. We go ooh woo for them. And most critically, if you've looked at the comments of our Meet the Queens video, I think some of the queens want to fuck me. But most
Ah!
importantly, which one? Maybe we'll talk about it. Who knows? But Greg, the thing before we jump into this episode, let's give a little bit of context here. I've still been on the marching band that I think that for the most part, Canada has been a very good franchise. I
Yeah.
do feel like it's
Yeah.
been lost its way in a couple seasons because season two with Isis Couture, with Pythia, with so many people, legendary, iconic. I think season four, which had Aurora Matrix, which had Venus, which had
Venus.
other people, also really really good. I don't necessarily want to say that we're in a UK structure where it's the even numbered seasons that are the solid ones, but just those other years, it's just something's off. And as we've kind of discussed a little bit in our current UK coverage, it might come down to casting. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if you have any thoughts about what is makes for a successful Canada season and if this one follows in that suit, but that's just kind of where I'm
L-
at going into it.
Listen, I'll still say it was rough around the edges, but you cannot dismiss the talent that was on the first season that has now permeated throughout
Hmm.
multiple Drag Race franchises around the world, whether it was Lemon or US All Stars season 8
Winner.
winner Jimbo. Um, and Priyanka has a flourishing career. Rita Baga is a fixture of Quebecois French drag, and it was the host of Drag Race Belgique. The Canada is in many ways the gift that gives that keeps on giving, and I have a funny feeling, and it might be possibly because UK's been a little weak this year, and we haven't had Mexico, we haven't had too much of a distraction from other national seasons. I get a funny feeling because my friends are very excited about Canada's Drag Race. This might be the year it finally gets its flowers. This might
Hmm.
we might be a little too excited about it, but it might get its flowers the way it really deserves. It's still not France. It's probably not Spain, and it does not hit the wild entertainment heights of Philippines, whether it's Slation Royale or regular season. But it is up there, and
Hmm.
it might be way better than UK at this point. So
Honestly, as we get into these queens, my husband pointed out this might be the sexiest cast they've ever had for Canada. I'm,
whoa.
I'm just throw
I
just toss that out there. Toss
I
that
did not
out
have that
there.
reaction, but bless.
Okay,
Oh,
it's
good.
okay.
But
Season six,
speaking
episode one.
speaking of
Yes.
queens coming into the workroom, Star Doll walks in and she's like, "Is season 6 the season of the star?" Well, yes. Um, I thought her look was cute. She immediately lets us know about her Suki doll connection, which
Connection.
she did not talk about, by the way, in the Meet the Queens that people had. I don't think she
Correct.
did.
Yes. I don't think anyone
Uh,
was allowed to because I had to look up all that shit afterwards. Which, by the way,
oh,
look at our Meet the Queens episode because we go into the
yeah.
history. Don't worry. Yeah.
She also says she's a drama queen and a theater hoe. And okay, like that works. What did you think?
I'm already over her. I'm so sorry, Greg. I'm
Oh!
already over her. It's the thing where like throughout this whole thing, she just gives just this try hard energy where it just feels like nothing she says just comes from a place of just genuine. It might be like
Mm.
enthusiasm, but it's just that it's that she has that very performative smile, that little like toddlers and tiaras smile. Like it's just I want to see the real her, and in this first episode, all I get is artifice. All I get is just the performative mask from her. So I out the gate, it's such an odd pick for first in, I will say. But you know what? We'll see how it plays out. This is just initial impressions.
I think they liked her outfit. I think they thought it
Mm.
was fun and loud and bright, and that's why. Also, Evan, you're basically saying just send her to Slation Royale season 2 now. Like just get her on the plane. Don't even come for another episode. Up next was the our first Vancouver queen, Hazel, who comes out and says, "Who's ready to get hazed?" And this is my reaction, and this is no disrespect. I mean, maybe it is a little bit. That's a man, Maury. Like, forget the 6'2". That's a man. That is celebrity drag race contestant Hazel,
What?
who is a series regular on CSI Las Vegas. I don't know who that actor is, but oh no, it's a real queen from Vancouver. It's Hazel. Um, I can't. I will say I can't decide if I like her mean girl look or not. Like her high schoolish
It's
mean girl
very it's
look.
very it's very basic. We've seen it
It's
before.
very
Yeah.
basic. She says she's been called the it girl by Kendall Gender. Is Kendall
Yeah.
Gender someone who we should be listening to her like take well
I
anyway.
filmed a movie. I was in a campaign. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Uh
Uh,
she's cute though. I just think she's a little basic. I hope I'm wrong.
when she walked in, my husband said, is this like if Rita Baga was hot?" Uh, and I'm gonna have to really sit and think about those words for a second.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that is certainly a queen who is a contestant on this show.
Up next is Van Goth, and she comes in and simply says, "I'm here," which is very smart and very, very. She probably thought about that for years.
Hmm.
And the girls are gagged. We have, by the way, a lot of queens come in to the workroom, and the other queens are genuinely shocked at who the rest of the cast is. She says she's the showgirl rock star. Um, and she's also known for being a cunt. I liked
Hmm.
the dress. Uh, I don't know if I loved it, loved it. She's giving me very Dragula energy.
Oh
And
yeah.
very Dragula energy.
Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And she is already trying to form an alliance. What did you think of Van Gogh?
She is a self-described villain.
Hmm.
So I think she has that going for her, and as this episode rolls out, she plays the part. Already better arcs we have going on than what we had going on in UK, let me tell you. But yeah, I like the look. I like the kind of flower flame elements against with the black parts of it, but. Yeah, it was good. She definitely feels like an acquired taste of a personality. I have a feeling we'll be seeing a lot more of her as the season rolls out.
I think so too. Up next was Dulce. We were unsure when we did the Meet the Queens if it was uh did I say that right? It is Dulce, right? It's
Yes,
the
Dulce.
Spanish pronunciation. I think in the Meet the Queens, someone or she said Dulce or some there it's somewhere someone
Yeah.
was saying the wrong it is Dulce. Um she says she does pageant drag and she's wearing a cute sort of national dress with the colors of Mexico, which I thought was good. Van Gogh seems surprised that she's there, but then we find out this is going to be a storyline eventually, because Van Gogh says she doesn't like her at all. And we're already setting up immediate drama between the two of them, and they've barely spoken, the two besties at the table at all. What did you think of Dulce?
So her entrance line was "Yo no prepara un línea de entrada, pero se hablo en español. Estas peras no se dan cuenta," which effectively was horribly butchered, but basically means I didn't prepare an entrance line, but I speak Spanish, and these bitches don't even realize. Something along those
Ah,
lines. So that's what she was going for on that one there. I hated this fucking look. Listen, and I'm so sorry. I am so sorry to this girl. But the thing is, we have seen people come in with their representative country
yeah.
flag origin looks before, or at least colors on them here. This was just the safest fucking thing. Like, it is cute. I can maybe charitably call it cute, but it felt so basic. And yes, it absolutely tells me who you are, and you probably represent Mexico, and that is fantastic. But there's nothing here. Again, this is the one thing my fear for her is that because, as we'll get to it a little bit later, her rivalry with Van Gogh comes into play. I
Yeah.
don't want her time here to be defined by her rivalry, very akin to playing Jane versus a mandatory meeting. But I hope she has more to it than that. We'll see.
We'll see. Up next was Ebony. Wait, does Ebony have a last name? It's
Ebony
Ebony.
Labelle.
Ebony LaBelle. And she goes, "Oh shit, will you look at that? The Black Beauty has arrived." I like Ebony. I want
Yeah.
to like Ebony more. I thought this was a very dated Nicki Minaj-ish look. I
Mhm.
didn't love it, but I like her personality, and I just wanted to like the look more. What did you think?
Very similar. Is the thing is like I like the look because yes, this is pink leopard print. We've seen this a million times before. It was nicely accessorized. It could have gone a little bit harder. I think the hair, the black and pink, black pink, ponytailed hair that was long, I think kind of helped add to it. And yes, the thing is that I get the best energy currently at this point in the episode out of her confessional look because in the confessional she's bitchy, she's all knowing, she's a little bit
Hmm.
like sarcastic. Like I like the energy there. I didn't feel that same energy on her entrance, but we'll see.
Up next, and I'm already obsessed. I'm already obsessed. Evan is Paolo Perfección.
Profession.
Her Perfección. Her entrance line is "Prepared to be enlightened," and I already wrote, "Okay, she's hilarious. She's delusional. She's a great mug. She's going home second episode." But I love her. She says she represents the woman sluts of America. She vogued out of her mom's pussy. Um, and then she asks, I don't remember what the response to this, but at one point she goes, honestly, who cares? She's talking about social media, that she's a social media queen. And she goes, honestly, who cares? Meaning about who cares about like, followers or who's following me. She's like, I just want the number to grow. And that's why she's here, and I sort of love it. I think
hmm
she's instantly iconic, and I don't think production will have ever realized how iconic she was until they got in the editing room weeks later. What did you think?
It's kind of like, and I mean this with kindness because she's much smarter than this, but she's kind of giving Joella energy, like
Mm-mm.
just delusionally off base, but almost everything she does is iconic. Truth be told, having a little light on your pussy, and that is what is shining out through your terrible dress, actually incredible. Truth be told, like
I didn't think
she
it was a terrible dress. I thought she looked good.
Yeah, I thought she looked okay. I thought Scarlet Envy's comeback to the competition was welcome and warranted. But ultimately, yeah, she is an acquired taste for sure. But don't worry, we're not done talking about her. That's all I'll say about this.
No,
Let's
we're
move.
not.
We'll
I
get
will
into
say I thought Scarlet Envy was Hazel, elongated.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
But
okay.
yes. And by the way, bless Scarlet Envy for having that much influence on drag around the world. Um,
Cardi B, yeah.
exactly. Uh, Up next is PM from Vancouver. And speaking of Hazel, she is shocked that PM is here. Did not expect one of her best friends. And I'm just going to say this right now. If you want us to believe that the two of you did not talk about you being on the show, you are not that good actors.
Yeah.
You can go under oath. You can take a lie detector with
hmm
Vanity Fair. I do not believe this. For a hot minute, you both knew you were on the show. Um, but PM's line is feeling horny, or is it just me? She describes herself as Vancouver's horny, high-kicking alien who is non-binary but can dance, which she says other non-binary and trans queens can't dance, which is a choice. I don't know if I would have said that publicly because I think there's a lot of evidence to say that's not true. But she has been trained in ballet for 17 years. By the way, that doesn't mean she's old. She probably started when she was like 8 or 10.
Hmm.
And she has ventured from planet they them to please you. She has a PM hasn't even walked over to the table, and Hazel is already telling the girls they better watch out. She is enraptured with her friend. She thinks she's a star, which, by the way, is a great. By the way, we know they're friends. This isn't a
Right.
bonus page three thing. Um, but and again, they play this whole game that they didn't know either of them were going to be there, and I'm like, stop!
Mhm.
I just don't believe you. What did you think of PM?
My husband wants to fuck him so bad. It
Oh
is so
wow!
crazy. It is just like just absolutely everything about them. Also in my notes though, what I wrote down, finally some fucking energy. Like I'm so sorry to
Yeah,
the girls who came in prior, but like here's someone who actually gives a shit about what they're doing. Like they speaking of people who I think low key are kind of iconic in their own way, like just unapologetically themselves. And the thing is that, like, again, as we've known throughout recording this entire series, I'm always going to love my fucking wackadoo weirdo queen. That's just who I am. That's just what I'm always going to enjoy. But she just has such a tact with what she's doing that, like, out the gate, like, this is a pretty good look overall, but she just has such energy to it that I'm like, I am definitely pulled in and intrigued. I cannot wait to see more of her. Yeah, I think she's off to a great start.
100% agree. Up next is Maya Fox, and as we talked about in our Meet the Queens, she is the first Inuit queen to ever be on the series. She's from Nova Scotia, and she says, "Well, jumpin' Jesus, Scotia's finally in the building." She didn't really have that much. She sort of had a short edit
Yeah,
for
she
entrance.
did. Yeah.
Her look was okay. It was not that memorable, but it wasn't bad. And she does, she says, "You better watch out, Brooke. The real Queen of the North is here." Which, all right, that's I don't know if I would say that. Any other thoughts on Maya Fox?
Surprisingly, no. I thought that her look was actually very tasteful. I thought there were some really nice elements to it there. I kind of was hoping for a little bit more, I guess. But yeah, unfortunately, I feel like she's not going to leave as much an impression out the gate. But I still love how much she's embracing her heritage, and I love it anytime a queen brings their heritage onto this runway, especially. So yeah.
Yeah. Up next is Saltina Shaker. If you don't remember from Meet the Queens or you're unaware, Saltina has hands down one of the biggest drag race followings for any queen in North America at least. She has over 700,000 followers on Instagram. I think even more on TikTok. Do you know the TikTok number, Evan? That is
I
your
so literally we were talking about this the other night there. Can you guess her TikTok following account?
2.5 million.
You were actually direct on the money. That is exactly what she
Oh,
has on TikTok. Exactly.
okay.
How many does RuPaul have on TikTok?
I don't think Rue has that yet. I think Rue's probably only at 1.5 or 2.
She's at 3.5, so
Okay,
barely ahead of
okay.
her. Now,
But
last question.
But Trixie is more than 3.5, and I know that I think Plastique's at least 11 million. I don't know what it's
She is
grown
at
to.
11 fucking million. That is correct. So
Okay.
yes, there's different echelons over here, but for Saltina Shaker as a queen coming in to be a million TikTok followers behind fucking RuPaul, doing pretty good for herself, all things considered. Yeah.
And I think Bob, who's also one of the biggest one on TikTok, is at 3 million, 3 or
Yeah.
3.5. So that's amazing camp. I mean, she on TikTok alone has insanely more than like every winner from the US. And on Instagram,
Yes.
she has more than a bunch of the winners. Like, and we're talking winners who've been around for a while. Like, it's
Ginger
nothing.
Minch.
I know. I'm talking even regular season winners.
Yeah.
I have to say, I love the look. I thought she looked
Hmm.
polished and great and professional, and her mug is really good. She is not
Hmm.
just a social media queen. Her mug was
Correct.
impressive to me. What did you think?
Yeah. I love the for me what sold it, what brought the belted corset and the boots together was this jacket, this black and
Yeah.
white, like almost Beetlejuice styled kind of jacket with these red accents. Just beautiful. I thought it got it together. It's not like a top tier look. I think it's a very good look, but like especially for an entrance look, and especially with what we've seen so
Yeah.
far, one of the more polished ones, hands down.
Hands down. I'm really looking forward to her. Popping out into the entrance is none other than
Morgan McMichaels. Oh,
Sami
sorry.
Landri,
Yeah.
who says in French, and I will not try to pronounce it or speak it in French. Do you have a cigarette? To the audience, and she comes out and she is giving Le Philippe meets Katya, and I fucking love it. I'm a huge fan. If you don't know about Sami Landri, Sami also has a big online following. Before this was even announced, so the cast was announced. She was up to 170,000 followers on Instagram, which is massive for the rest of this cast.
Hmm.
So she's basically the second most popular after Saltina. And she has made a name for herself with great social media memes, but she's a performance queen. She's a real queen. She performs a number of times a week, and she has made a name for herself in Quebec and Montreal and that sort of French market. And as we have said before, if you do follow her on Instagram, she has warned everyone she is when she does videos talking about the show, she's going to speak in French. She's not going to speak in English because that is who she is, that's where she's from, and she does not feel that the French queens get enough representation on Canada's Drag Race. Sorry for that long
Hmm.
ramble. Evan, what did you think of Sami Landri?
Oh, I love that she's just trash. I love that her whole aesthetic is just this trashy, as she describes it, like that girl in the music videos who's always in the background. It's finally her chance to shine. She just fully embraces it, and I kind of dig that that's her vibe. I do think that ultimately, if that's how she keeps with the season, that's going to be her undoing because she'll do this one thing, very specifically over here. We'll see how it plays out, but so far, again, like what I'm seeing.
Except the two queens I mentioned. Le Philippe
Uh-huh.
kept that brand the whole time and won her season. Katya almost made it to the finale. Like when
Hmm.
she did it, she was top five. So, and then eventually was, basically top two on All Stars 2 after she'd become a
Hmm.
thing. So it's possible you can keep that brand, but maybe this is too distinct for you to win a season.
Who knows? Who knows? We'll
Who
see. We'll
knows?
find out. Exactly. Yeah.
Up next is Karamilk, and she comes out and she says it's chocolate, and I love this look.
Iconic.
It
You
is,
what?
oh yeah, the line's great, but I loved her look. I thought her look
Hmm.
was great. The
One of the
material,
best.
yeah.
One of the best. Yeah, unquestionably.
And what I loved about it is the material, that shiny coat that she had is like totally on brand. Like she lets everyone know her drag mother is Kimmy Couture. By the way, at this point, I don't think Saltina had let everyone know that she and well, we'll get to the other queen, that their drag mothers is Giselle Lullaby. So we didn't know that
Hmm.
yet, but there's a lot of Neo baby drag queen babies on this season, which is a-okay. But I was impressed by Caramel. What did you think?
Overall, absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. She has some of the best looks in this entire episode, if I'm being so real for you. But yeah, already off to a great start. Just absolute, just decadence is how I would describe her. And yeah, I have very good vibes, and I certainly have high hopes. I truly, truly don't know how it's going to shake out for her, but so far off the gate, yeah, I'm very impressed.
Very impressed. Last but not least, in the queens are utterly gagged that she walks through the room, is Velma Jones. And she says, period. But I think she says it in French, which was period. I can't remember if she did or not. But the queens are literally gagged. It's like the third time someone has come in and they like can't believe it. She lets everyone know that she is from Quebec, and but she's also a drag king that goes by the name Johnny Jones, and her look is reclaiming her period, but making it gorgeous. She has this dress with hanging sort of like they're representing tampons. They're not real
Yeah,
tampons.
yeah,
They're like
yeah.
cloth things. And the blood liner in her white wig, uh, it's just beautifully done. Like I thought it was an amazing look. I'm already impressed by the polish of her drag when she comes in. What did you think of Velma Jones?
I mean, my fucking winner. I'm sorry. Like this is just out the gate. To have this be your entrance look, to have these not only the blood on these tampons to be bedazzled, to be rubified, like she knows what she's doing. She just strikes me as someone who is, again, she's 39 years old, and as we know, she
Yeah.
co-produced the shows with Giselle Lullaby. This is a smart woman. She knows exactly what she's doing and getting into. So I'm over the moon for her, and I think this entrance look absolutely proved that she fully deserves to be here. Every little detail on it, even the tampon fucking necklet, like earrings, just it's game over. I'm so impressed already.
But she does warn you. She does warn the audience. She says, I'm a big costume and camp queen. And she goes, will they take me seriously? Which
Hmm.
is a very brave thing to say on your first day there, like to sort of challenge the judges to take her seriously.
Yeah,
Um, but in a surprise that I don't remember happening on a season in quite a long time, before Brooklyn or any of the judges come in, they unpack. They're like the
yeah.
producers tell them to unpack, which is not normally how it happens. Usually that's after like the first mini challenge or something. Um,
Well, and remember the last two seasons, the girls walked in, walked out, and then had to like go to set for like a music video shoot
yeah.
or tear down their like or something else like that, which always kind of ruined the whole co-mingling thing, which I always love. So they fixed that. So already, producers, you're off to a good start. You've heard our feedback. Thank you so much for listening to Worldwide T. That was great.
Yeah, and they start unpacking, and Paolo has a iconic moment. She brings out a chime for a sound healing moment for her area of the fake workroom. And I thought it was quite funny, and I was like, I would love 12 episodes, or I'd love 10 episodes of this. I know it won't happen, but I would love 10 episodes of this craziness. I also love that the other queens were going through it. The only other thing that I took away from this moment before they got the root call was some of the queens are a little bit delusional about
Mhm.
their own looks and the other best looks that are there. One of them might be Star. But I also think she's just getting camera time. I think she's
Yeah.
not that delusional. I think they're just having fun. What did you take away from all that?
Yeah, when they asked like, well, who else you had the best looks, and one of them said Karamilk and Velma, I believe, out there. I'm
Yeah,
like, yes, absolutely correct. And then some of them were talking about some of the lesser looks, and some of them said like, well, I don't know, I didn't really like what Dulce was wearing, and I'm like, T, like so. I think there was some accuracy to be found there, but overall, like, yeah, it's just a little bit of light fun so far. Amazingly, we actually get into some real dramatic meat later on in this episode, but that's later, so
that's
we'll
later.
get there.
And then, but before they can even get a chance to breathe, they get the notification that there's a RuCall, and RuPaul is part of this franchise, like she's part of the Philippines.
Hmm.
Just some quick history, because for those of you who have not covered our coverage of Canada before, the reason why RuPaul is not the host of Canada's Drag Race is not because she doesn't want to go to Toronto and do this. She would take the check and go, because this is a big check. It's because there are laws in Canada about American citizens hosting Canadian television shows in the 80s and 90s. All sorts of former American stars and celebrities came and started hosting shows, taking jobs away from Canadians, and they passed a law that it can only be a Canadian person hosting the show. You can have guest judges, which, by the way, this season that will be happening, because if you have not heard, Carson Kressley is going to be a rotating judge. As we saw in the preview for next week, he's showing up, which bless. We'll talk about that next week when we discover how Brad's not coming back, if they even acknowledge it. But that is why Brooklyn Heights is the main now host of the show. So, but they are told they need to go out onto the runway, and they are shocked. But before we get there, I believe we have a new animated intro for the show. I don't know if I'm the only one who noticed this, but the graphics came in for Canada's Drag Race, and it looked new. It looked different. I will go
Well,
back and double check, but it looked
yeah.
like the whole thing was a little updated. I could be
Quite
wrong.
Quite possibly. It is still so wild to me that they are now just like it's like you're watching Canada's Drag Race. The queens can win $100,000, and here's your guest judges. It is not no longer Shoppers Drug Mart. It's no longer you
Oh
also win
yeah.
a trivia or anything else. It's just this is the second season in a row. It's just been and here's some cash. Bye. Like there's I'm not sure what happened with that whole thing, but yeah, there's just pure. You don't get to win a year's supply of reused fabrics from Revoco as they do over in España. So
I
it's.
want that year supply of Repco. I
I
mean,
think that's such a great prize. I do,
you know
genuinely.
that Carmen Farala was like, damn it, why didn't I have
Damn
that
it.
in my season? All I do is make clothes. But I agree with you. I forgot that Shoppers Drug Mart dropped out, but I also feel
Mhm.
like it may be recessionary. But who knows? I hope you know what? I hope your two hosts here have jobs and income for the next 12 months ahead. If not, we will be doing this pretending we do. Um, but more importantly, the queens come out onto the runway, Evan, and there's Brooklyn and Tracy out of drag, and in a shock. Um,
Tracy out of drag.
oh,
Greg, was she ever in it? Let's be real.
I
Finally,
needed that
at
today.
long last,
I
this is
needed
what
that
Tracy
today.
looks like.
Tracy Malloy, Toronto International Film Festival coverage, blue carpet icon. We love you. It's that's no shade. Um, But in a shock to me, I can't believe they didn't save this for later. Brooklyn lets everyone know that no one is going home this week, that there is no pressure, which in hindsight was a really smart thing to do, because I think it
Hmm.
brings out the best in the queens and their performances.
Hmm.
Did that run through your mind at all, or no?
Oh, I thought it was a bold thing to just announce out the gate, but it also the idea that this is a have fun notion is good, and also the quote unquote prize you win is more FaceTime with the judges. It's basically we're going to have a top five. That's
Yeah,
what you need to know. Exactly. I don't think they revealed what's happening in the lip sync quite yet, but I think that's yeah, that comes
they
later, I
did.
think. Oh, they
No,
did.
no,
Okay.
they did. Beforehand though, Ebony gives a confessional where she says she wanted one of these 12 queens to go home. She's like, send home
Mhm.
four of them. And I'm like, all right, girl, this is a little strong, coming on strong. But they represent Brooklyn says that there's going to be a legendary lipstick assassin that the winner of the episode is going to go up to just for fun, and it's me. So they don't keep it a secret, which was sort of shocking. And the queens are all, once again, for the fifth time I've said it this episode, gagged. But they also, it just means it's fun. There's no real pressure. They will create pressure for themselves. But it is what it is. And then, Evan, Hollywood Jade comes out to announce this week's challenge, which is dun dun dun.
The remix to the season one rap classic, Not Sorry About It, but remixed for the modern era. And yeah,
And Evan, can we talk about there's no rehearsal? There's no
there's no
like seeing them
rehearsal.
record the song. It is boom. We
Bam!
just cut to
Smash
the
cut.
video.
Just like in
Smash
season
cut.
six, they did very similar, and
Yeah.
I really thought it was cool. Yeah.
I loved it. I felt it kept the show going and moving, and it like didn't slow things down. Um, listen, this is a 59-minute episode. This is not an hour and 10. This is not an hour 30. Like they made sure this stuck for what they needed on Crave. Lemon is part of the. They announced is going to be part of the video, and we
It's actually
start seeing
technically
it.
under Lemon's remix, is how they
Yeah.
describe it too, which is wild. But then again, they got her back to do the line, so like, yeah, get that check,
Yes.
girl.
Let
Absolutely.
me get that checked. I just made quick notes about their songs and performance really quick. Did you make any notes as well, or
Oh
should
yes,
I just?
absolutely, yes, yeah.
Okay, all I had for Saltina was I thought she was a good rap, but and the performance was fine. But
I
I thought it
wrote
was
eh.
fine.
I didn't think it was that good.
I wrote about Star. I thought she can sing. I wish she had in rap, but I wish she had sung more. I hated the outfit.
Yeah, hated the outfit. She just radiated try hard energy the whole time, and I feel like that's probably going to be my problem with her this entire season.
Maya Fox did have an interesting inclusion of the ratatata in her
Hmm.
rap. But you know what? I it hit me while I was watching her. She's giving Robin Fierce level drag. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So she's a
Looking,
pro, but
yeah.
like, will we ever remember her? Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
All I can say is that I didn't catch all of the lyrics as they were hitting. I didn't think her lyrics were especially good, but her very final line of "Indige bitch titty sit," that was pretty great. So I'll give her credit for that. Absolutely.
And then Van Gogh, and I mentioned this in the Meet the Queens, 100% giving Candy Muse vibes. Like this is
Hmm.
you could literally have Van Gogh like ADR Candy Muse, and I would think it was Candy Muse, like or old school Candy Muse. I thought it was fine. Any other thoughts on Van Gogh?
I kind of liked the lyrics overall. The performance was okay, but it didn't necessarily stick with me personally.
And then those five dance together. This will happen three times. They're sort of broken up into three groups, and they danced fine. Or sorry,
Yeah,
those four danced. It was whatever. I didn't think anyone stood out from the others. But then the next group, Velma, she can sing.
she can
That was
sing.
my big takeaway. Like she could really sing. I thought she did a good job. What did you think?
She did a lot of branding about the drag orchestra too, how she has multiple players in it too, and I thought it was effective over here. I wish there's a little bit more about her lyrics, but man, she tells you king and queen fluidity, proud bisexual confetti, like she just lays it all out on the ground. So again, very impressed with her already. At this point, I don't think she could do any wrong to me, but we'll see.
Hazel was up next. She did throw in the famous Drag Race overused lyric line. Yeah, I said it, like which she did not need at all. I I I thought this was beyond
This is bad.
okay
I'm
and
sorry, this
not
is
great.
bad. This
It's
is maybe
bad.
one of the worst ones, and I'm not even kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. But then already iconic. Kyron Thrax has already done a video about
Yes, I
this.
saw that earlier. Yeah, yeah.
Uh Paolo comes out with her verse, and I've literally wrote in all caps, "Crown her." Like this is wild, and her dancing is crazy. I am in love with her. I need her to last halfway through the season. I don't think it will happen, but I'm just obsessed. What did you think of Paolo's iconic
I
verse?
think I need to just rap for anyone who hasn't heard. I think I just need to do
Oh,
the last half of the verse. Lots of me on video, yapping, bitching. Yes, I show Z cups at the coffee shop. You love when Paulo's titties pops, and the universe wants me to win because I am the universe, and the universe is me, bitch. Which is in the moment,
bitch.
I gotta be honest. In the moment, I hated it, but also no queen ever fucking done that shit before, Greg. Holy shit! Like it is
Mm.
again. I don't think I'm gonna love her, but it's hard for her to not be iconic. I mean, truly, everything she does, truly.
She needs to post merch because I will buy it. I don't
Yep.
really can't afford it, but I'm gonna buy it.
I think she works six
Um,
days a week.
I think she does. She works 6 days a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Karamilk was up next, and my only takeaway was she can definitely dance. She sort of sung. She's like talk sung for like a little bit, and then she sang a little bit, and then she rapped. I wish she'd sang the whole thing. I feel like her rapping was not as good as her melodic voice. And I think that was maybe a strategic mistake, but people do what makes them comfortable in the context of this. What did you think of Caramel?
Very similar. I thought her lines were pretty bland. I thought she had maybe one of the
Yeah.
blandest verses, but she delivered it so well on camera. She popped. She really did, and that was kind of a little bit of a disconnect for me. Yeah.
So before the final group comes on, they cut to Lemon, who's in the workroom, which I sort of felt bad. She's like in a smoke-filled, fog-filled workroom. But you know what? It just reminded you with this break. No one raps like her. She
No one.
is. I'm sorry, Shea Coulee. I'm sorry, Vixen or whoever is still rapping. Aja used to rap. Um,
Hmm.
Lemon is the queen of rap for Drag Race contestants.
100%.
There's something iconic about how she does it. It never feels forced. It's I don't know how she does it, and I don't know how much it may just be inherent to her, but she's so fucking good. Any other thoughts on Lemon's Break?
Just, I love her so much. In
Yeah.
case you didn't hear about our ranking of international queens that we love so much, there's a reason why I had her up in my top 10,
Uh,
and she's just proven it right here. Listen to that episode, by the way. It's really, really good when we
it
rank
is.
the best international winners of the franchise. So just putting that out there. It's a really good episode.
It is. First is Sami Landri. I thought she was pretty good. She didn't like blow me away, but she was fine and she had energy and she some of it's in French, I think. So I thought she did some she did her brand. What did you think?
Same. Calling herself a cigarette mom celebrity. Yep, that is exactly your brand. Absolutely. But like the rest of the lyrics were not fantastic. Basic bitches think I'm trash. Cool girls know I'm trash eek. Trash chic. No, I'm sorry. We're moving on.
Yeah.
We're moving on. So yeah.
Um, Dulce was next, and all I wrote was, listen, we're not all meant to rap. Like, not all
Hmm.
of us are meant to do that. And but I love the representation. I love what she was doing. I love what she was trying to say. She did a bunch of her lyrics in Espanol, and that was
Hmm.
also smart as well. She's, by the way, I don't know how long she's going to last, but she's very smartly branding herself to her community in the best way possible, and I'm all for it.
100%. And again, it was a smart move over there. I just wish I liked her looks a little bit more ultimately, but yeah, she definitely has personality. I'm not sure how long she's going to last in this competition, but yeah, again, I love what she's putting out.
PM was next, and all you need to know is one of her last lines is, "If you're lucky, you can sit on my." And I just gotta say, I almost clutched pearls. Like I feel like even Brooklyn Heights would be like, for this is a bit much for Canada, but I loved it. And again, also PM is getting slight Dragula energy
Mhm.
vibes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like not I don't think her aesthetic would work on the show. I don't think she's horror enough. But for the type of queens they cast in terms of personality, she is very that. Like they would not cast this personality on the US, but on Canada
Mhm.
it works.
Yeah.
She was
Five,
any other.
6, 7, 8. This they them Zussie's gonna be great. Come the fuck on, y'all. How stop being iconic challenge, impossible level. PM can't not
Yes.
be iconic. Obsessed. Literally, she is insane. They are insane. I love everything about them. Just move already. I don't think they're gonna win, mind you. I say that fully, knowing some of the other queens of this competition.
Mm.
Go as far as you fucking can, girl. Oh my God, I'm so in. I'm locked in, Greg.
And Ebony was last, and here's my take. She could perform. I thought her rapping, singing was okay, but she can definitely perform. And I don't know why I thought this, and it might be off. She feels like a little bit of the Georges mold, like just a little bit. And maybe it was just some of the moves she did. It might be a stretch, but I thought she was good. I thought she was very solid. What did you think?
The thing that I really loved is that again, much as how we praised Dulce for really bringing in her heritage into it here, I really thought she did a fantastic job of doing it here.
Mm,
There's the like jerk into pot, she's spicy with a kick, hot gal, hot body gal, hot gal, Nigeria queen, legit. Like fuck yeah, bring me that fucking flavor. Like I just genuinely. We are nothing, and I think it's weird because as much as America is still very much a melting pot country, I feel like Canada's done a much better job of showing
yeah,
off all of these different people. Because as we know, as we've learned through the show, this is a place where you can. This is an amnesty country. You can move
yeah.
if you're getting gay prosecution. You can actually move over here completely okay, and it's been fantastic because you get to see just so many differing elements and cultures mixed together, and challenges like this allow them to highlight that, and I fucking love that. So I thought Ebony did a pretty good job with the lyrics, and I liked her personal story angle more than some of the other queens with the "Yas, give me the crown" kind of shit. So yeah.
So they go back into the workroom, coming directly, it seems, from set when they shot this.
Hmm.
And they're just in having a great mood because there's no pressure, no one's going home. Ebony talks about how she wants the top spot, and then there's a side conversation. I can't remember who Saltina is talking to, but she's already in her head, and like you'd never know it. Like she thinks she did badly. She says that she doesn't remember anything that she did in her performance, that she just like went in a daze. And I'm sort of surprised. I'm sort of shocked. You would have thought she would have come in super confident. And I immediately thought, is there too much pressure on her because she has such a following and she doesn't want to fuck up? Did you take anything away from that conversation? Am I missing anything from it?
She said that she forgot everything that happened because, and she viewed that as a bad sign because she felt like she can usually remember what she did on stage at any given point. So for her, that was a bad sign on there. And again, I didn't love her verse too. So I thought that this was a more of a narrative setup to her not doing well in the challenge, even though she treats it as the most serious thing in the world. But no one's going home this week, so it doesn't really matter, which I kind of forgot about in the moment. But yeah, just it was interesting and interesting to highlight, but also again, this is Saltina. They're going to give her screen time regardless. So yeah.
1000%. And then in a surprise. Oh wait, did I miss something?
Well, the only thing I want to say is at one point in the confessional palace says, "I'm very unique." Unique, which I thought was, I appreciate the reference more than anything else. Anyway, yes,
How did
surprise,
I miss
surprise.
that? I'm a
Uh,
Beyonce stan and I missed that.
yeah,
I must have been taking notes. But none other than Pint Size, American Idol, former judge, 80s, 90s pop music, wink wink, icon. Paula Abdul comes in and all the queens freak out and they know her and they're excited and she hugs every single one of them and they all apologize for their bad makeup and she doesn't care. I thought it was very sweet. What did you think?
we've had Paula Abdul on as a guest for Drag Race US before,
Yeah.
but she's never been like this. Like the thing is, when
No.
she comes in, she feels like she's in control. She feels like she's in command. Like I've never seen a judge have this much fun on set in a hot minute. Like we'll get to more of her stuff later, but she's ready to go. And I don't know. I was really loving the energy that she brought. This is more than when Charlize Theron brought some baked treats into the workroom. Like this felt like the real deal. I don't know. I was very
I,
delighted by her presence.
I was too. I have two theories about it that I'll talk about when we get there.
Okay.
But they she hugs and talks. I can't remember what their conversation was, but she hugs and talks to all of them. But then eventually we go to the runway. It's time for the runway, and Brooklyn comes out in her stunning Utica designed outfit. If you're unaware, Utica finalist for Project Runway this past season designed this outfit before she ever, by the way, did one bit of Project Runway. This is like last February, January she did this. This year has gone by fucking fast, and you know what? We
Yes,
need
it
the
has.
next. We need the next 3 years to go by fucking fast too. Um, but I have to say about this outfit because Brooke had posted photos and like Insta videos about it like last week. it looks much better when it's moving on stage than it did in like still photos. Like
Hmm.
if you photo it from the wrong angle, it's not that flattering. But on video, I thought it looked good. What did you think?
The very same. These little black poofs of like tulle that are kind of coming out of it, like it just has such a striking effect. But it is the thing where, like, after again, for any of you who've been following our coverage of UK and España, where our hosts aren't necessarily bringing it to the runway every week, goddamn gives a damn, and it is just so immediately
Yeah.
apparent. The look again, it was a little bit more structured than I would think for a premiere, but it worked ultimately. I wasn't mad about it whatsoever, and it also kind of gave way to a runway category that I think was vastly misinterpreted by several queens.
It was, but before we get there, we just have to talk
Yeah,
about the bad joke rundown. First of all, this is now Tracy Melchor's. She was not on the first season, but she was
correct.
seasons two, three, four, five, six. This is seven, and she did two versus the world. This
Hmm.
is her eighth season, and she still cannot banter. Like, this is
What do you
crazy.
mean? I'm here giving you
Like,
that they them
and
sussy.
let me tell you, I am super worried about Hollywood Jade as a rotating judge. Like, we'll get to it, but I was not convinced. But even Paula can't even react to the bad pun joke from Brooke because it's so bad. Also, we did forget, or we have to bring this up. It is somehow introduced that Brooklyn is Paula's drag mother, and and she calls her drag daughter at one point. We just don't want this to leave the historical record. Don't
Yeah.
know what that means, but hey, listen, anyone can be a drag mom or drag daughter. It's all good. So, category is more is more. Would you like to start, Evan?
Yes, and thankfully we start off strong. So Velma Jones comes out here in what is effectively a giant floral look. It is essentially this giant kind of white flower with blue accents. It shows up on this hat that she's wearing. It's quite lovely. Overall, it gives you impact. There's just beautiful fading from the blue to the white. The hat's so big it does kind of cover up her face and put it in a little bit of shadow. But she also really paints a lot like Isis Couture. I was learning with the way that she does her eye and
Hmm.
lips. But outside of that, like for more is more, again, if I look at a photo of it and like what is the category, I might be able to get to more is more, and that's the key thing. More than I could say for some of these other looks. What did you think, Greg?
I loved the headpiece. I thought it was beautiful. Eventually, Brooklyn does make the point it does cover her face a bit too much, but I think that's just how she angled it. If she just angled up a little bit,
Hmm.
and I thought it was beautiful. I just didn't think the corset worked. There's a little too many corset looks this week, and that this was one of them to me.
Hmm.
But Evan, what did you think of Karamilk?
So
Speaking of corsets.
yeah, Karamilk, she comes out in a corset, and there's just a lot of opulent detail that is added onto there. There's a lot of like kind of golding on the corset, and then there's just kind of this flow dress. She has these long sleeves with this golden exterior and this like almost silk black interior there. It was pretty good. I wish I liked it more than I ultimately did.
Hmm.
The bodice feels like a little oddly constrictive because again, if you, especially when she flapped out the sleeves, that was one thing. But when I was just looking at it as is, I did not get more is more. I got opulent instead of more is more. You
Uh,
know, that's the sense I got. What did you think?
I 100% agree with that take. I hadn't realized that till you said it. I thought it was super pretty, and I thought it looked clean and professional. And it sort of told me now for the third look in a row is she will. Oh, she's going. She's a pro's pro. She is always going to look polished. And if she doesn't, it will be a shock, and it'll probably be a shock to her drag sisters on the show. Um, and she's someone to watch out for. I just feel like there's a quiet steadiness there that's impressive.
Mm,
Up
big
next,
Virgo Queen energy out of that, honestly. Yeah.
oh, I think she is, or no offense to friend of the pod and last week's winner, Virgo Queen. I think her looks are way better than anything Virgo showed last season. And we've only seen three of them, but that's just my opinion.
Damn.
I know. And up next is Miss Shaker herself. Uh, and I, I wrote, oh wow, it's a dragon costume, ready for Disneyland. I like she literally looks like a character that would like you would go talk to like on Hollywood, not Hollywood Boulevard, but at like Disneyland or a theme park
Hmm.
and like take photos with. I Her makeup was great. I just the outfit was not it to me. It is more though, I will say that, but I thought it was costume. What did you think?
I guess I'm confused on the timeline because I wasn't sure if she was eliminated already. I thought it was amazing Acid Betty was able to fly all the way out here in order to make this runway. I thought it was,
I,
oh, that's not Acid Betty. That's Saltina Shaker. My apology. It's just, I got that sense to it. I feel like Acid Betty would be able to sell this a little bit more. It did absolutely fucking Rita's costume there. So did I get more is more? Absolutely. But I do think that if I'm being fair, I think Saltina was graded on a curve a little bit this week. She did pretty good.
yes.
I could see her in the top five, but like she's more like maybe 6 or 7 for me personally. But that's just me.
I have to say I thought that if this was Acid Betty, she would have elevated this and it would not have
Yes,
looked as costume. It would have
I
looked
would agree.
more art. Um Up next is I lost my
Hazel.
oh is Hazel, and oh boy. Um, we have seen this from Isis Couture and
Mm-hmm.
Suki doll before many
Mm-hmm.
times. I feel like there was even a look that Jimbo wore, which is very similar to this. We do learn that she is 6'2" out of drag, so I have sympathy
Mm-hmm.
because it's a gigantic look. And this is more is more. I will give
Yes, it
it
is.
that. But this is not original and it feels reductive. And I'm sorry to say that for the second time in this podcast, or maybe just today. But I wanted to like it more, and now I feel like it may sound like I'm being too harsh on Hazel this episode, but I just, I did not love it. What did you think?
Very similar. It's the thing where if you look online, some people are like losing their minds over it. But again, sometimes you have to remember sometimes the people reacting online aren't necessarily scholars of Drag Race history, and they don't necessarily know that this is a look that has been done before. It's effective. It does what it needs to do. It gives showgirl energy. The circular headpiece is still lovely. But again, I just kind of like the thing is that I feel like between the looks I've seen from her before, she came in as this bad bitch entrance look, and then she had this different look for the video. I don't know who she is as a queen. I don't know her aesthetic right here. And if I'm being
Yes.
honest, that's the thing too. I kind of get the same thing from Saltina Shaker, where it's like I also don't really know who she is. I know she can afford expensive looks. That's the biggest thing. I don't know what her aesthetic is out the gate, if I'm being super harshly critical of it. Meanwhile, Karamilk, yeah, I'm getting a sense of who she is right here. And I'll be honest, even Dulce, even though I don't think her looks are at the same level of polish, I
Yep.
know who she is as a queen throughout these three looks. I'm not getting the same out of Hazel at this point.
You know who else we know who they are out of their three looks so far, Evan, is none other
Who,
than
Greg?
Star, who comes out in an ocean-inspired, she says it's also inspired by the Philippines, her native country. Um, and I want to say at least it's, I like the coral headdress, but the rest of it is utterly messy. And the more you looked at it, the worse it looked. Not great. What did you think?
Again, I don't want to harp on this. I don't want this to be too much of a thing, but you're 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 really that's your drag mom? That is your drag
Yeah.
mom and this is the looks that you're bringing here? It just felt so basic. It felt design challengey if I'm being honest. Like
It
this might do
did.
well as a design challenge, but the textures were all wrong. I feel like almost every single texture element here was just incongruous with each other. And the whole thing is that because she picked the texture she did, the whole thing just looked cheap. The top of it, the coral headpiece there, that looked expensive, but almost every other part of this just looked
Yeah.
indefatigably bland. So not my favorite, for the record. She is telling me who
So
she is, though.
boy, she is.
Yeah.
Up next was Sami Landri. And okay, so at least this is different from what everyone else is wearing. We have seen this patchwork thing before, most famously
Hmm.
done terribly by Maddie Morphosis in a design
Yes.
challenge, who might want residuals from this. It's a little gross, like in like tacky wise as a look,
Uh-huh.
but I thought it worked. Um, I wanted to love it more, but I thought it worked. What did you think?
I think it's Brooke who had the best line about it. Like, remember Weird Barty? She's a whore now, and that's kind of the sense that I got of it. Again, I thought it worked for the most part, but again, it didn't give me more is more, and that's I think kind of the biggest thing. It gave me clashy, it gave me extravagant, it told me who she is, but I didn't. If you looked at this and you said the category was more is more, I think there's like a 5% chance I'd get there, but not overly.
So you know what's really funny, Evan, is I only watched this episode yesterday, and up next is Maya Fox, and I wrote head to toe puffer gown, and but I also wrote feel like I've seen this a couple times before. I cannot remember this look at all. I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what she wore until you tell me right now.
She wore a black Missy Elliott inspired puffer
Oh,
jacket gown type
yes.
thing, which was similar to what RMIRA wore on season
Hmm.
15. We've seen different iterations of this puffer jacket fantasy before, and I think the biggest thing is that like the design of the actual jacket dress kind of combination thing was good, but the puffers needed more puff. It was like kind of flat. Like yes, I still got puffer
Yeah.
from it, but I didn't get volume from it, and maybe that was a design thing. I kind of wish there was more opulence there. So again, more is more, more is medium, kind of, but I think it could have gone even further.
I don't know if it was a design thing. It did also didn't look like it fit her well. It looked like it was
Yeah,
either
yeah.
too big or needed to be even bigger for the proportions to do what she really wanted. Now I'm remembering it. But again, it just did not stick with me at all, which is bad 24 hours later. Uh, Up next though is um PM. And so she says she's doing a bug. I thought it was a clown.
Same.
Um,
I was
and she
getting
says
crystal
it,
method off this motherfucker. Yeah.
yeah. She says it's a praying mantis, but I don't understand the praying mantis
Nope.
part of it. But she is performing on the main stage. She falls to the ground, which I thought was intentional. Eventually, the judges ask, and she plays with them and says, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't.
Yeah.
But she is going full blast. There is no um, I don't want to, well, not the word conservative, but she's not holding back at all. She's not
Correct.
like trying to temper what she's doing. She is here. She's queer. She's going to explode on the stage, and you're going to recognize her, and you're going to smile. She's not going to make you
Hmm.
angry. She's not going to piss you off. She's here to make you entertain you, and she's working. She's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. She again, like, is this a more is more look? No. In fact, of all the looks that she's worn this week, this is the worst one.
I
But I
agree.
will say that overall, if you want to talk about more is more, if you saw the performance that they gave on the stage, that was more is more. And so when she gets the critique later of like, I wish if we're gonna do it, let's actually really do it. Yes, because ultimately this still felt like drag closet, and that was a bit of a disappointment for me. But yeah.
So Ebony comes out next, and she's wearing a red and blue. I don't believe it's a dress. It's a pantsuit, right? Isn't it
Hmm.
like pants,
It's
or is
like yeah,
it?
it's like a corsety pantsuit thing. There's the bodice, and then there's this kind of blue part that comes down, and then she has the little
Yeah.
blue wrap around over there.
And she has a gigantic
Do
red
rag.
do-rag, which eventually Brooke says to her she wished it had been even more is more like and really like extended longer. I love the concept of the look. I didn't understand the red and blue color scheme. It's such a strange, especially those two colors. It didn't represent anything that we know in particular, unless it's, the flag color of her hometown or something of St. Catherine's or whatever. But I didn't understand the red and blue part. I felt like in a different color scheme, this would have popped more on the runway.
I see that. The thing is that because everything was just fucking bedazzled to fucking hell and back again, I
Mm,
did get a sense of opulence out of this. Like I
okay.
did think that the red and blue, the shimmer together was really good. And I also, for the record, didn't really like that critique of like, I wish the do-rag was all the way down to the back of the entrance. Like, yes, I get that it's more is more, but also that's just then at that point it just becomes Simone's look from season 14 when she did
Yeah.
something very similar. So like I feel like there's a little bit of mixed messaging on there. I still got opulence. I thought the color combination worked beautifully against her skin. I thought and she also sold it too. There was this regalness to it here. It just came off as like chic. It just came off as like again rich. Is it going to be a look I'm going to remember a year from now? Probably not. But I still thought it was a
Yeah.
pretty good presentation overall. So more is more in terms of decadent moneyed volume, maybe.
Speaking of a look I will remember a year from now, and before I even wrote her name, I wrote OMG. First of all, can we talk about what a prophet Paolo is? She knew earlier this year that Rosalia was releasing Lux, and she's
Hmm.
like, "I'm going to come out on this runway in a dress that represents that seminal 21st century album." And she knew she's a prophet. She looks striking. She's a model. She's a woman.
Hmm.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I do not understand why they did not think this was more is more. This is more is more to me. And Jade has this little sneer or something when she's on the runway, and he just doesn't get it. And I'm like, because remember, she didn't get critiques. So they made sure that we saw that that was his reaction. And I'm like, I wrote sigh. Like, really, Jade? Anyway, I loved it. What did you think?
So here's my issue is the fact that she within her walk down interview confessional says that this is biblically accurate angel realness or something like that on there. All right, so if anyone's seen the image is a biblically accurate angel. There is like this multi-cascading arcs of eyes like circling around over here. And in this outfit, she's wearing a very nice, insanely detailed corset with a single eye right in the middle. And of course, this giant sheet that she has kind of like over it that she's, working with. And I'm just like, okay, if the category is more, give me the fucking more. If you're going to say biblically accurate angel, give me opulence and stupid and just ridiculous. Like I was kind of the thing where I think she kind of undid herself with that descriptor because it's like, if give
I
me the
buy that.
more. And so yeah, I still love the way there was the wet hair look. I thought there was a lot of really nice elements here. I just wanted the don't if you're gonna tell me something in the descriptor, give it to me. Don't just hint it at me. So yeah.
I loved it. I'm going to judge her on a curve until she goes home.
Okay.
And I'm not apologizing for it. Uh, we got two more. Dulce is up next, and she's wearing a La Virgen de Guadalupe look. And I wrote, I want to like it, but
God, I
I
know. It's
I
so
want to.
close, Greg. Ugh.
Yeah. So close, but not really. I think one of the problems is the dress is too simple. It's just
Yes.
a one. It needed more detail or more design elements to it. It's just a simple red dress with the rest of it around that is interesting. And I did feel more is more. It felt big, but I didn't
hmm
feel like it was as polished as maybe she thought it was, which is a criticism she gets in the workroom.
100%. And it's the thing where it's like she's padded to hell. She has an incredible shape. It's a little bit lopsided, but otherwise like it's still like beautifully well done. I just the dress she was relying on the pattern of the dress to sell it, and unfortunately when you're just looking at it dead on, you could see like okay, and this is the bottom of the fabric, and this is like it just feels so plain like that, and it wasn't accessorized enough to make that happen. So a belt, just one other element, a slit, something like
Yeah,
that would have been, I think, really kind of added it to the thing. But it's still lovely. It's just I liked it, and it could have easily been I love it, and so that's on her at that point.
agree.
Yeah.
Last but not least, is Van Gogh, and basically she reveals in her look that at the front of her bodice is a gigantic missing ear. It's Van Gogh's uh, uh, missing ear with some punk um, uh, 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 what do you
Good.
call
Like there's
them?
a
Like
paper, there's a
yeah, all
paper
sorts of
clip, or
stuff
there's a
clip in
pin.
it.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
other
all sorts of stuff.
piercings. Yeah.
Piercings, thank you. And I thought it was super smart. Like it was a great first, and it's definitely more is more.
hmm
I thought her mug also works, but from a distance. The closer it
Yes.
gets, the less I like it. And she describes it as punk, camp, and cunt, and I can't disagree.
hmm
I I think there are things about it that I wish there was more. I feel like it's two things. It's her mug, the wig, and the bodice, and the rest is sort of missing, but it still worked. And I will
hmm
1000% give her credit for that. What did you think of this look?
Yeah, I thought it was good too. If anything, I thought it was kind of like it's weird to say. I wish it was bolder. Like, yes, you made a very bold center voice over here. I did not think this is the look of the week, but I thought it was at least distinct for her. I wish that her earrings had a bit more detail because, like, hey, if it's going to be ear based, let's have a little bit more outside of what's going on there. But overall, good. I liked it. Yeah.
Agreed. So we discover who are the top five the week are going to be, with their opportunities to get critiques from the judges, and it is Velma Jones, Saltina Shaker, Ebony LaBelle, Van Gogh, and PM. And my initial thought was Saltina was like we talked about before. Why is she in the
hmm
top five? I would have had Paolo there. I also would have had Karamilk, who had the
hmm
best, like, consistent look, run some of the best looks of the
Well,
entire episode, and her performance was great. I don't understand why she was in the top five. Did you think anyone else should have been up there?
I That's tough to say. I think no, I think you nailed it. I don't think there's anyone else, especially from the performance aspect, that needed to be there. And again, it's weird because I felt like the queens were judged on different levels. Because when they get into the actual critiques, like Velma, I liked your lyrics, but these two looks that you have, I feel like kind of were like the overpowering thing. So
Yeah.
it comes down to what was really the challenge. I think is kind of one of the elements that goes into this. So with that in mind, I think you said everything I need to say.
I had just some quick notes on the critiques. Do you want me to go through
Mhm.
them, or do you have some that you had?
Please. Why not?
Paula Abdul says that Saltina talks about how I think she might need some support sometime during this, and Paula tells her that she can call her anytime and she'll kick her ass for her. So Saltina, you need your ass kicked. Paula is going to call because she thinks she's a coach on The Voice. This is not The Voice. I don't think she's going to be able to
Love
do
her
that,
energy
but
though.
love her energy though. Um, some of Jade's critiques to some of the queens had me very concerned. I don't know if I love his take on drag. I'm a little worried, but he's only here a third of the season, so we'll see what happens there. Brooke had a really interesting take on Van Gogh. She wants her to be more femme, and she's basically giving man as she's just standing there. And we
Hmm.
have I don't know how to explain this, but basically Paula Abdul gets out from behind the dais, goes up on stage and moves Van Gogh's foot to teach her how to bevel. Part of me was wondering, was Van Gogh going along with this just for the bit, and that she could have moved her foot correctly to bevel, but just didn't do it? Or she really didn't know how to do it, and Paula came on there and showed her. What did you think of that moment?
I thought it was so fun. It's the kind of thing where it's just like I felt like because I felt like it was Brooke who had the thing of like when you're standing here, you're given. I wasn't like linebacker, it was something else, but like she was talking about stance and pose and things like that are important because every once in a while Brooke will come through with a brilliant, I didn't think of it. Oh, of course, you're absolutely correct kind of critique like that as she's a working drag queen, and so Paula coming out there and like not only doing that, but then for everyone else, bevel, bevel, bevel. I thought that was like it was just fun, and again, it kind of showed that Paula clearly was comfortable enough on set to do that, and that is a credit to production and Brooke and everyone else to like inspire that environment. And it made for great TV. It was a really fun,
Yeah.
stupid moment, and it's the kind of thing that I remember out of this show. Like I love that.
So remember I said earlier, I was going to come back to why I thought Paula was, so euphoric. It's such a great mood, like so energetic.
Hmm.
Brooklyn even posted, after this episode went out, that the last person to leave the set that day after her was Paula Abdul. She was there all day long. She didn't want to leave. She was helping production any way she could. Paula wants a job. Paula wants a gig. Like this feels like she sees there's an open gig there somehow, and
Hmm.
she wants to like get in there. And by the way, would not be mad at it, but it was like it very much gave that in a way, in the most positive, like in grace, with grace sort of way. But it felt like, oh, girl, you want a gig. Like you feel like you're auditioning. And by the way, you take your opportunities where they are. Even Paula Abdul.
Hmm.
I'm all for it. Uh, what did you think of that or take at all?
I don't know enough details about that, but you know what? If she's giving this energy every episode, I wouldn't mind seeing her back. I'll say that.
There we go. But more importantly, the queens go back to the workroom. And if this is Canada's Drag Race, Evan, there's going to be drama.
Uh,
Would you like to go down this already tense and very real, not so fake, I think, drama that went into the workroom?
So, and I might get a couple details wrong here about this year, but
Sure.
ultimately they come down. The Save Queens are talking about them, the looks and everything else. That the top five girls come in, they are all sitting down doing the old chatting, and then it's at some point it comes up of I can't remember like who do you think should have been up here or something like that, but it comes down to the fact that Dulce and Van Gogh call each other bestie, and the thing is that that is a joke between them because they are clearly not besties. To which it then comes to the point of they start describing their history of working various gigs, and Dulce talking about how at one point you don't even remember this conversation, but you were so dismissive of who I was as a performer and artist, and that stuck with me. And you always struck me as a bitch, and were always standoffish. And Van Gogh is like, I don't even remember that conversation, and Dulce is like, that's exactly the fucking point. And so they are on very different sides of the of room, but they're almost like completely opposite of each other on this couch, and they are just kind of going at it there. Was there any details I missed about that part?
The only one, and you might have just said this and I missed it, is Van Gogh says, I can't remember. He's like,
Hmm.
I might have said that, but I can't remember. And Dulce says, oh, on several occasions, and I can list them. And that means that you are in someone's head, like that you have hurt
Hmm.
them or offended them. And this feels very real. And I'm not saying this is why Dulce got cast to be a storyline with Van Gogh, because remember, they've never had a Mexican Canadian queen before. Like this was something I felt they needed to do. And Dulce seems like she's a legit queen. She performs, she can do. we might not like love her aesthetic so far, but there have been way worse queens on Canada's Drag Race like before her. So far, that from what we can see, but it struck me a little bit as this is quite real. And what's more interesting is not only have they set Van Goth up as a potential front runner because surprise, surprise, she's going to win this episode and get to lip sync against Brooklyn, but they were also setting her up as the villain of the season, which is a really strange thing to do in the first episode.
Yeah. But it's also like they knew this rivalry was already happening. And I can't remember if it was Van Gogh or whatnot, because then there's the conversation comes up, okay, if this was an elimination episode, who should have been in the bottom?
Yeah.
And at some point, some of the girls point out that they think Dulce should have been in the bottom. They also say Paolo should have been in the bottom as well. To which they said, Paolo, how are you feeling about this girl? I gotta be honest. I don't really fucking care. Which is just, she sounded
No,
like
no,
Denim in that moment. Go
the
ahead.
quote
Yes.
was, she goes, low key, I don't care. Like, and it was the low key part. Like, she does not care at all. I didn't think she sounded like Denim, but I love her energy because she knows that she is there for as long as she is. She applied to the show supposedly when she was unemployed. Did not think she'd get in at all. She did it as a lark, and she's like, "I'm just getting the money. I'm just like the check and the exposure. I don't even know if she's gonna do drag after this, and I don't care because she's just having a blast."
Yeah. It was. I mean,
Ah,
again,
you do.
lot of spice in this first episode. But again, that's Canada. It has a reputation for it now. So a couple seasons running. So I'm not mad.
Yeah. But anyway, they go back on the workroom. Sorry, they go back on the runway, and again, I spoiled it. We find out that Van Goth is the winner, which is sort of a surprise. I didn't think she would
I did not think she
be
was gonna be
the
the winner.
winner
I
because
really didn't.
I didn't love her performance, but I guess that runway and maybe they wanted to make sure that Brooklyn looked
That's
great against
exactly why
whoever
I
she was
think that
lip syncing.
happened personally. Or they
Uh,
knew it was also going to be good drama given some of the histories of what they just saw. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah.
Agreed. And she wins $5,000 from Cedars Campgrounds. And all I can say is, Cedars, save that money. A recession's coming. What are you doing? You're a gay-owned
Yeah.
business. Like, don't, what are you doing?
Come on now.
Um, uh, and so then they come out and they do the lip sync. And Brooklyn has to remind herself that she has to go on stage with Van Gogh. And it's to Cold Hearted by none other than Paula Abdul. And please explain to me, Evan, how great was this lip sync?
So this is a very interesting lip sync to do because, as we know, this is one of the most famous lip syncs in the U.S. Drag Race canon. Very
Yeah.
specifically, season 5, when it was the final moment of Alyssa Edwards versus Coco Montrese, in which Coco Montrese absolutely destroys and eliminates her. And this is one where Brooke, and you could tell, like again, Brooklyn Heights last season had an incredible challenge where the queens were able to design outfits that she then wore on stage. Like it was a really cool element. I love how much Brooke wants to get involved in production, and I think she was just like, I want to be filmed lip syncing to Cold Hearted, and I'm ready to go. God, she just, I mean, I've seen recent performance videos of her. I'm sure you have too, Greg. She hasn't
Hmm.
lost a single step in how she does it.
Hmm.
Just a fucking obliterating the stage. And it's not saying that Van Gogh did bad. I don't think that's true, but Van Gogh can't fucking keep up with this fucking level of performative nature. By the time that they get to the slight rapping part and Brooke points to her mouth again, very reminiscent of Coco Montrese back in there. Like, yes, I know the rap and I know every word to it, and I want the audience to know as well. It was like, this is just fun. And again, like, I think it was fun even right before they do into it. It's like, this is a lip sync for fun. Like, there's no winner on this one here. They just want to do it for the sake of doing it. I feel like this is maybe something Brooks insisted on, and it's like, you know what, bet. Like it was just absolutely goofy fun. But if we had to pick a winner, for me, yes, I very think Brooklyn Heights would probably take it, but that's just me. Who do you think would have won this lip sync?
Well, I think Brooke hands down won it. Also, I think she's performed this song at least 100 times.
Yes.
She knew this like the back of her hand, not just because she's a pro and had listened to it a couple times. She sort of killed it. I will say, Goth did impress me a tiny bit. She did a handstand move into a tumble that could have looked awkward and not clean, and it looked perfectly clean. And I actually like jumped, not jumped back, but I was like, whoa, like when I watched it, because I did not think she had that in her arsenal. And that sort of impressed me a little bit. The rest
Mhm.
of her lip syncing was a little what you'd expect and not all over the place. But I think she might surprise in the performance aspect in some ways down the road. Not all the time, but I'm opening the door that she might be a better performer than what she thinks she is. But of course, it doesn't really matter. And how the lip sync ended with Brooke perfectly timing. Van Goth didn't see it coming at all. Her neck scarf, very thin neck scarf, by the way, to land right on Van Gogh's shoulder was so good.
So good. Like it was just over at that point. Like again, stop being iconic. She just can't do it. It was so fucking good. Yeah. It was a
And
fun. It was just a fun way to do the episode. Go ahead. Yeah.
and then to end it and to remind her that she's still the star of this show and the host of the show, she hugs her and she says, "Next time wear nails." So
Yeah.
that was the like, okay, we I she like came to her level, but then she's leaving, she's making sure she knows, nope, I am the host of this show. Remember, we are not equals here, even though I just destroyed you in this lip sync.
Yeah, I've seen some of the discourse online being like crazy how one episode of Canada's Drag Race is better than all of this most recent UK season. And I'm not necessarily saying that I agree with that sentiment, but I think the sentiment can be felt on here. It's just like it's such a good energy to kick things off
Yeah.
with. This is kind of what you want in an episode so far. There's the drama, there's the fashion, there's the stupid. Yeah, I had such a good time with this.
So here's the good news is next week Carson Kressley is arriving on the show. Hollywood Jade will be taking a break. Carson will be our permanent guest judge next week. The bad news is it's an acting challenge against a green
Ah, damn
screen.
it.
So we might be in for some surprises, but I am super confident about this season. I love the queens already. No one is grading, which to be honest, I always feel like every time a Canada season starts, there's always one or two queens that I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to warm up to you, girl.
Knowing you, Greg,
And
give it a minute. We'll get there.
no, but really, no, they're not. I'm impressed so far, and
Mhm.
I'm super excited about this season as we get into the cold winter of
The
65
cold-hearted
degree
winter.
Los Angeles. Cold. Any other thoughts?
The most clear thought of all, Greg. Who's gonna win this fucking season of Canada's Drag Race?
Dude, I on this episode, based on this episode, sorry, it's my voice is losing. I don't even know if I could pick a top four. Like
Right.
I am I'm genuinely like it feels utterly wide open. I can guess there's like two or three queens who will go home early-ish, but the rest, I don't know. I love it. There's no clear front runner. I feel like it's rare that we even get those seasons these days.
Yeah. If I were to wager a guess, I don't think I can pick a top four at this point. However, I will say that I think if I were to wager a guess, Saltina and Velma, and I'm just tossing it out here, maybe Ebony would be in the top three. That's just I'm tossing it out there.
Mm,
I could very well be surprised. We'll see how it shakes out, but that's kind of how I'm feeling at the moment. We'll see. Power rankings.
we'll see. Yeah, I do feel
Exactly.
like they've done a wonderful job of making it seem as wide open as it possibly could be.
100%. There's no immediate front runner out the gate. But you know what, fans? Who do you think is going to win out this? Can you let us know in the comments below if you're watching us on YouTube? And if not that, at least do us the favor of following us on Spotify or any of the other places you're getting your podcast here, because those follows, those little reviews and ratings, they add up. They mean something. And we would really appreciate it if you've been listening, because we're going to be doing this for 10 more weeks, baby. It's going to be a whole thing. But most importantly, we're covering the finales of UK and España. If you want to get caught up, please listen to those episodes. They're out everywhere right now. And most importantly, Greg, I'm not sure if you had anything else to say, but just thank you so much for doing this as always, every single time.
Thank you. And guys,
Yeah.
we're excited to be here, and we'll see you next week.
Stays true north, strong and fierce, or whatever the thing is. I gotta say that. We'll see you next time, guys. Goodbye. Take care. Woo.